It was a dark and stormy night when a group of friends gathered around a campfire, each eager to share their scariest stories. As they huddled together for warmth, the wind howled through the trees, and the crackling flames cast eerie shadows on their faces. The first to speak was Sarah, who recounted a tale about a haunted house she and her family had stayed in during a vacation. Strange noises, unexplainable sightings, and a sense of dread had plagued them throughout their stay. But it wasn't until they discovered a hidden room in the attic that things took a truly terrifying turn. The room was filled with old toys and clothes, but as they searched through it, they heard a chilling voice whisper, "Get out." Next, it was Tom's turn to share his story. He spoke of a hiking trip he took with his friends in a remote area of the woods. As they set up camp, they noticed strange symbols carved into the trees and rocks around them. That night, they heard whispers and footsteps outside their tents. And when they woke up in the morning, they found a crude effigy made of sticks and twine placed at the entrance of their campsite. As the group shuddered in fear, it was Emily's turn to tell her tale. She spoke of a ghostly apparition that haunted her childhood home. The ghost appeared as a shadowy figure in the corner of her room. But as time went on, it became more and more aggressive. One night, Emily woke up to find the ghost standing over her bed, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. The final story came from Jack, who spoke of a cursed object that he had unknowingly purchased at an antique shop. The object, a wooden box with strange markings, seemed innocuous at first. But as time went on, strange things began to happen. Objects moved on their own. Strange smells filled the air, and Jack began to have terrifying nightmares. Eventually, he discovered that the box was used in a demonic ritual, and he had to find a way to break the curse before it was too late. As the group sat in stunned silence, a bolt of lightning illuminated the sky, followed by a deafening clap of thunder. The wind grew stronger, and the fire began to flicker. Suddenly, they heard a blood-curdling scream coming from the woods. They huddled together, too terrified to move. As the sound of footsteps grew closer and closer, just when they thought it was all over, a figure emerged from the darkness. It was their friend, dressed in a ghostly costume, having played a prank on them. As they all laughed and caught their breath, they realized that the true horror was not in the stories they had told, but in the fear that had gripped them all. They packed up their things and headed back to civilization, grateful for the safety of their homes and the comforting light of day. As they walked through the woods, they could still feel a sense of unease, as if they were being watched by something unseen. The wind howled through the trees, and the sound of twigs snapping underfoot seemed to echo through the darkness. The group quickened their pace, eager to leave the woods behind. Just as they emerged onto the main road, they heard a loud crash behind them. They turned to see that a tree had fallen across the path they had just walked, blocking their way back to the campsite. They looked at each other in horror, realizing that if they had been just a few moments slower, they would have been trapped in the woods for the night. As they made their way back to their cars, they couldn't shake the feeling that something had been watching them. They exchanged nervous glances, wondering if the stories they had told had somehow summoned something malevolent into the woods. The group made a pact to never speak of that night again. But the memory of their terror stayed with them long after they had returned to their normal lives. They would always wonder what had been lurking in the darkness, just beyond the reach of their campfire's light.